Hey there, all you fantastic people. I hope your day has been absolutely wonderful. We're back for another exciting episode of What If Naruto Became the Windlord. Make sure to show some appreciation to the talented author behind this fanfiction. You'll find the link waiting for you down in the description. In this What If, Naruto finds some scrolls that contain Fūton Jutsus. When he goes to ask the old man about them, the answers he gets will change his life. If this What If has your imagination running wild, drop a comment down below and let me in on your thoughts. And don't forget to explore the array of other captivating what ifs available on this channel. Alright, without further ado, let's kick off this video and dive into this exciting journey. "Hey Hinata-chan," yelled Naruto when he spotted Hinata on the streets. Said girl turned around and saw Naruto and Anko walking towards her. They were both grinning slightly. "Naruto-kun." "Anko," she said. "How did your exam go?" "We'll tell you over ramen," said Naruto as his grin got a little bigger. Hinata nodded and the three of them headed towards Ichiruka's ramen. Hyuga Hanabi was at that moment walking home. As she walked she would let out a small sigh every few minutes. Her flower arrangement class had bored her to death. Again. It wouldn't have been as bad if she wasn't the only person in the class that was under 15. Hell, she was the youngest person in that class by at least 10 years. Most of the other people in the village waited for their daughters to get into the academy to being stuff like that. But Hyuga Hiyashi would never stick her in a public class since she was the clan's heir. The young Hyuga's days followed the same pattern. She would get up early and do some light sparring. Then she would have breakfast before going from one lesson to the next. Then she would go home and eat, followed by a half-an-hour break. Then it would be more sparring and then finally sleep. Today she was lucky that the rest of her afternoon classes were cancelled for various reasons. As Hanabi walked she saw other kids her age playing. She envied them. She knew that she had a duty to her clan, something that her father never let her forget, but still she wanted to be part of the crowd. Hanabi wanted someone to confide in when she felt her father was pushing her too hard. She wanted someone to do girl things with. Sadly, her mother had died giving birth to her, and she didn't have any brothers or sisters. All she had were her father and cousin. Neji was hard to talk. He only spoke to her when ordered, and the stare he gave her was ice cold. Hiyashi would never talk about anything other than how her classes were going, and how important it was that she succeed. "At least Tazuna is letting me join the academy," said Hanabi to no one. "Maybe then I'll make some friends." It was then that she passed Ichiruka's ramen stand. She had passed by it many times in the past. The scents coming from it always made her stomach growl, but she never went there. Her father had told her that she should never disgrace herself by eating at places commoners ate. As usual, there was the same loud blonde that seemed to be there all the time. With him were two girls. One had purple hair and was wearing a trench coat. She was eating dango while helping the blonde tell a story to the other girl. Hanabi stopped dead in her tracks when she saw the other girl. She had blue hair and had the same lavender eyes as her clan did. But she knew every main branch member of the family, and that girl didn't have a birdcage seal on her, or at least she couldn't see from her point of view. So, who was she? The blue-haired girl turned her head slightly, and the Hanabi let out a light gasp. That girl resembled the pictures of her mother. Who was this girl? This was something that Hanabi had to find out. So she went across the street and began to spy on them. "So how did you pass?" asked Hinata after they told her about the genjutsu. "Well, he kind of just passed us," said Anko as she took a bite of her dango. Naruto nodded as he slurped his ramen. Flashback. Kakashi had placed all three of the genins in front of the posts. Sasuke began to brush off the dirt on his clothing as Naruto and Anko were released from the genjutsu. "What happened?" asked Naruto as he slowly got up. "You passed," said Kakashi with a nice smile. Sasuke gave him a look of superiority. Naruto and Anko on the other hand looked confused. "Ah-sensei," said Naruto first. "Not that I have a problem or anything about this, but why the hell are you passing us?" finished Anko. "We did get the bells." "That's true," said Kakashi. "But that wasn't the real test. The bells were a distraction so I could see how you all worked as a team." He looked at Anko first. "You seemed more interested in killing me for some reason." Anko let out a low growl as he moved over to Naruto. "You just wanted to fight." Naruto scratched the back of his head as Kakashi then looked at Sasuke. "Sasuke here thinks that the two of you are a burden that would hold him back." Both Anko and Naruto snorted at this. "However, 2 out of the 3 of you managed to work as a team. So I have decided that you all pass. Naruto and Anko may go. Sasuke, I want to talk to you." Then flashback. "Wow," said Hinata as they finished the story. "I'm glad you both passed. But, I wonder what he wanted to talk to Sasuke about." "Hopefully he's telling Sasuke that he isn't the center of the universe," said Anko before drinking some tea. "If chakra was equal to one's ego, that guy would be beyond Kage level." "That's true," said Naruto after finishing his 5th bowl. "It might hurt us later on. Especially when he runs into someone later on that he is no match for. He'll underestimate the guy and then we'll all have to pay." Over with Sasuke, he and Kakashi were doing some light sparring. "Too slow," said Kakashi as he dodged a punch aimed at his gut. Sasuke growled as he jumped into the air and threw 3 kunai at Kakashi. Kakashi's eyes smiled at this attempt and merely pulled out his own kunai to deflect Sasuke's. "It's not over yet," yelled Sasuke when he landed. He then charged at Kakashi and began a series of punches that were all blocked by the Jonin. This continued for another 15 minutes. By that time, Sasuke was drenched in sweat. "Let's end it here," said Kakashi looking fresh as a daisy. "From now on, after we do team training and missions, we will do one-on-one training once everyone else is gone." "Why?" demanded Sasuke. "Do you think that I am that weak?" "Sasuke," said Kakashi calmly. "I know all about your goal to kill Itachi. At this moment you wouldn't last 1 minute against him." Sasuke let out a growl and narrowed his eyes. "Well, Naruto does know some interesting jutsus and Anko has her own. Once it has been fully awakened you will be in a position to copy their styles and jutsus for yourself." Sasuke smirked at this. "Is that why you really passed us?" asked Sasuke. "Perhaps," said Kakashi with a nice smile. "I will admit that I am curious to how the Senpiken works." Then Kakashi became serious. "Alright, I want you to get some rest. Tomorrow will be a big day for you. Say, Hinata-chan, would you like us to walk you home?" asked Naruto as they left the ramen stand. Anko gave the blonde a bump on the head. "Baka," she said. "Don't go volunteering me to do stuff." She then gave him another bump on the head. "Besides, she's a big girl. I'm sure she'll be alright." Anko then turned to the former Hyuga and smirked. "Right, Hinata." When Naruto had first asked her if she wanted to be walked home, Hinata's face turned bright red. However, after what Anko said, it was red for a different reason. Anger. She wanted Naruto to walk home with her. However, after what Anko said, asking him to do that might make her look pathetic. Hinata knew why she was doing this. Anko also had feeling for Naruto. How does she know this? It was simple. Hinata accidentally stumbled upon Anko's pink diary with unicorns on the cover one day while she was at her place. Since then, whenever she got the chance, she would sneak a peek. It turned out that Anko had developed feeling for him about a year ago. Not surprising since they were always together and that they had the same personality. One thing they would agree on was that they didn't want to share the blonde. "That's true," said Hinata with a smile of her own. "But since Naruto-kun did make the offer, I would be happy to accept." Hinata then went over to Naruto and grabbed one of his arms. She then held onto it tightly while blushing madly. "After all, that is what a gentleman does. Right, Naruto-kun?" "I guess so," said Naruto nervously, having no idea what was really going on. Anko puffed her cheeks. "Fine," said Anko. "Let's walk her home." As the three left, Hanabi came out of her hiding place from across the street. Who is she, thought Hanabi. If she were from the branch family she would have had the seal on her forehead. But she doesn't. Who is this Hinata and why do I feel as if I know her? The training of Team 7 began the next day. Kakashi told them to be at the bridge near the training grounds bright and early, and then show up 3 hours later. That was when training began. For Naruto, it was less than impressive. Kakashi told him to sit on top of a post with his legs crossed and placed a book on his head. He was to remain like that until Kakashi told him to stop. When Naruto asked why, Kakashi told him it would help with his balance and patience. Anko received a lesson that was meant to teach her patience as well. Basically, Kakashi dumped a bag of rice on the ground and told Anko to pick it up one piece at a time with chopsticks. One could only imagine their fury when they saw Sasuke's training. It would start out with light sparring where Kakashi would point out flaws in the boy's form. Then he had Sasuke do some strength-enhancing exercises. After that, the team would be given a half-hour lunch break, and then some team sparring. However, Kakashi would place restrictions on Naruto and Anko, while Sasuke could go all out. He told the two of them that they had to learn how to deal when their best wasn't available, and to better see their flaws. In truth, however, Kakashi felt it would better help Sasuke if they trained this way. From their spars, Kakashi noted that Naruto wasn't as fast without his flying powers. Anko proved to be skilled with or without her weapons. However, it hurt her when she couldn't use a single jutsu and Sasuke could. After that, the team would do missions or, as Anko would call them, chores. Cleaning people's yards, racking yards, finding lost pets, unclogging toilets, they did it all. Their shinobi skills were really being used. So, time went by. The only one who had any change in their training was Sasuke. Naruto and Anko did the same thing day after day. After a while Naruto got fed up with this and tried using his Kage Bunshin with a henge, so he and Anko could do something else. However, it did not fool Kakashi, who tied them to posts. So from then on they trained after the team left with whatever daylight was left. As for Sakura, she was kicked out of the shinobi program forever. As her former teammates really wanted to beat her to a bloody pulp, they couldn't. Sakura was now a civilian and they were still shinobi, sort of. If they did, they would be punished and would lose their chance at becoming full genins themselves. Her other old classmates looked down at her with disdain, feeling that she had just wasted their and her time. After the exam, Sakura got a job working at the library. She was placed in the basement where she had to preserve newspapers and clean books. And that's enough of her for now. Later. Well done Team 7, said the old man after they had returned from bringing back Tor. We have a couple more missions for you. He begins to shift through his papers. We have picking up dog poop, weeding gardens, cleaning my garage, helping old ladies cross the street, and... No? Shouted Naruto. Make that a hell no, said Anko. I tired of all these chores Oji-san, shouted Naruto. Don't you have any real missions? For once I agree with the dope, said Sasuke. I demand a mission that is more challenging and worthy of an Uchiha. Stop acting like children, said Iruka. Team 7 has only been active for about 2 months now, and you 3 are still to green. Till we feel that you are ready you will be given simple missions. Come on Iruka-sensei, pleaded Naruto. No, said Iruka. Any higher level missions are too dangerous for you, and that is that. At that moment the Hokage stepped in. Allow me to explain, said the Hokage. Missions are based on a letter system with A being at the top and D at the bottom. A-rank missions are for Jonin and Anbu. B-rank missions are for Rookie Jonin and High Chunin. C-rank missions go to Chunin and Experienced Genin. D-rank missions are for you rookies so that you can work on teamwork. We will get the occasional S-ranked mission, but that's not for you to worry about. But how are you supposed to know when we are ready for something when we don't do anything to prove it? Demanded Anko. We could hunt down that stupid cat for years, and it would show how well we can perform on a higher ranked mission. Isn't there a mission that we can do? Asked Naruto. We're not asking for an assignation mission or anything major, just a chance to prove that we can do something more than what we are doing now. The Hokage took a drag. He hated to admit it, but they had a point. Perhaps it was time for them to see the real world. Very well, said the Hokage. We do happen to have a mission that Team 7 would be able to do. It is a simple escort mission. Cool, said Naruto. What kind of escort are we doing? Asked Anko eagerly. Are we protecting some daimyo? Or maybe a prince? Easy, laughed the Hokage. I was about to introduce him. You may come in now. Team 7 turned their head to face the door on the other side of the room. Slowly it opened to reveal an old drink man holding a large bottle of sake. What's this? He asked. These are just some super brats. Especially the midget with the super stupid looking face. Naruto laughed. I wonder who he's talking about. A midget with Naruto stopped there when it began to dawn on him. Anko was only 7 inches taller than him, making her the second shortest one on the team. Slowly, wind began to circle around Naruto's feet. If a fight's what you want then fine, said Naruto with gritted teeth. Don't Naruto, said Kakashi as he held on to the back of Naruto. They said anything about killing, said Naruto. I was just going to beat down. I am the super bridge builder Tazuna, said Tazuna after he took a gulp of sake. I am expecting super protection for you until I get back to my home country and finish the bridge. Alright team, said Kakashi. I want you all packed and ready to leave in 1 hour. Meet at the gate. 1 hour later. The whole of Team 7 showed up on time at the gates. When I say the whole Team 7 I mean Kakashi too. Oh my kami, cried Anko as she pointed at Kakashi. It has to be a phony. Kakashi just sweat dropped. It's really me, said Kakashi. You're right, said Naruto. You have never been on time since the day we meet you. This is important, said Kakashi. And we aren't. Thought Team 7 is one. Hey, they're acting like a team. Alright, let's go, cheered Anko and Naruto a few minutes later. Tazuna looked a bit worried. Why are you so excited? Asked Tazuna. Well, I have never left the village, said Anko. The only place I have ever been to outside of here is AIM, said Naruto with a large grin. Kakashi raised an eye at that. He didn't know that. But then again, he never read Naruto's file. Are you sure these brats can handle this? Asked Tazuna to Kakashi. Kakashi chuckled a bit. Don't worry, said Kakashi. They may be just a bunch of rookies, but I have been training them very hard. Anko and Naruto turned around to glare at Kakashi. And if things go wrong I will step in and take care of things myself. I am a Jonin after all. I hope so, said Tazuna as he and Team 7 left the village. We're incredible, said Naruto as they walked. Anko-chan is going to be the next head of the Anbu torture and interrogation, and I'm going to be the Hokage someday. Just you wait and see. I'm Uzumaki Naruto, so remember it. Tazuna just took another gulp of his sake. The Hokage is the #1 person in your village, right? He asked. I doubt that someone like you could ever make it to Hokage. Shut up, said Naruto. I'm prepared to do anything to become Hokage. Once I become Hokage then even you will have to respect me. No I won't, said Tazuna. Later. Hey sensei, said Anko after they had been walking for a while. What is it? Asked the lazy Jonin. Are there any shinobi in Nami no Kuni? Asked Anko. No, he responded. If there were then Tazuna-san wouldn't have hired us. There are many different villages. However, only 5 largest countries hold the villages where one can receive the title of Kage. They are the mist, leaf, sand, rock, and cloud. Their leaders are the Mizukage, Hokage, Kazukage, Tsuchikage, and Rokage. So will we be facing any shinobi? Asked Anko hopefully. Doubtful, answered Kakashi. That's a pity, said Naruto. I was really hoping to see some action. While Naruto said this, Sasuke and Kakashi noticed Tazuna sweat a little. Shortly after that they passed by a puddle which only Kakashi paid any notice to. After they had walked several feet from it, two shinobi from Kiri jumped out of it. They were the demon brothers. Silently and quickly they wrapped their chain around Kakashi, and when everyone turned around they saw Kakashi being shredded. "That's one," said one of them. They then appeared behind Naruto. "This makes two," said the other. With the same quick motions the chain began to wrap around Naruto. It would have done the same to Kakashi had Naruto not shot up several yards in the air. "Assholes," he screamed. While their chains were still in the air, Sasuke managed to pin them to a tree using a kunai and a shuriken. Cursing their luck they headed towards Tazuna. Seeing this, Anko grabbed the hilt of her sword that was tied around her waist. However, before they could touch her Kakashi appeared and, just like that, they were stopped. One was caught in a neck hold while the other was being carried under Kakashi's arm. "Sorry about that," said Kakashi with a lazy look on his face. Naruto looked over to where he had seen his sensei die. All that remained were pieces of wood. He cursed himself as he slowly fell back to the earth. "Naruto, please don't run off when a fight's—" "I didn't run away," growled Naruto. "I was avoiding being killed and—" "That's enough, Naruto," said Kakashi. He then turned to Tazuna. "Tazuna, why did you lie to us?" "I don't know what you're talking about," said Tazuna. "The reason I didn't take the cities out earlier was because I wanted to see who they were really after," said Kakashi. "They were after you. You hired us to protect you from bandits and things like that, but protecting you from shinobi is at least a B-rank mission. So tell why you lied to us." "I guess I might as well tell you," said Tazuna with a sigh. "There is an evil businessman named Gato who is after me. Publicly, he owns a shipping company, but that's only a cover. He's a smuggler and drug dealer. He came to Wave a few years ago and took over the country. He controls all the ports and has caused our land to become isolated and impoverished." "So why is he after you?" asked Naruto. "Because I'm building a bridge," said Tazuna. "When it is finished, it will connect our land with the outside world, and we will be able to trade freely once again, and our economy will recover." "So, if you knew this then why didn't you ask for better ninjas?" asked Anko. "Too expensive. If I told them all of that, then I couldn't afford you guys. Please, I'll pay you all back once our economy recovers." "I don't see why we should," said Kakashi. "It's not our problem, and since you lied to us that means that the mission is terminated." "No way," yelled Naruto. "Come on, this is our first real mission, and you just want to walk away." "No," said Sasuke with a smirk. "You would rather fly away." "I wasn't flying away, team," shouted Naruto. "If I hadn't done that I would never have seen." "Stop it, Naruto," said Kakashi as he rubbed his head. "We now have to decide on what to do." "Please help us," said Tazuna. "But, if you don't my daughter will hate the leaf forever, and my super cute grandson will cry." Kakashi's sweat dropped. "Fine, we'll help you," said Kakashi with a sigh. "Hey Naruto," said Anko as she walked over to him. "What were you trying to say earlier?" "I was going to say I was also looking to see if there were any other shinobi in the area," said Naruto. "As I was coming down I thought I saw one running away from here." "That would mean they will be regrouping," said Sasuke. "You're very right," said Kakashi as he nodded to Sasuke. He then looked at Naruto. "Well, it looks like your act of cowardice paid off in the end." With that he began to walk away. "I really hate him," growled Naruto. Team 7 along with Tazuna traveled for a couple of days until they reached Nami no Kuni. A boat was waiting for them and snuck them in. Once they got to shore, Tazuna told them that they would be staying at his place. As they walked in the forest, Naruto heard a noise in the bushes and threw a kunai at it. A white rabbit jumped out of the bush and ran away. "What are you doing, Dobe?" asked Sasuke. "I thought I heard something," said Naruto in defense. "Interesting," said Kakashi as he rubbed his chin. "What's interesting?" asked Tazuna. "That rabbit's fur was white," said Kakashi. "Rabbit's fur changes white during the winter months, but it's summer. The only other time it changes like that is when it has been kept in captivity for too long. Meaning that, get down." With that, everyone hit the floor as a giant blade flew through the air where they had been standing. It then curved upwards and was caught by a man standing on a tree. He had dark hair, no eyebrows, bandages covering his face, and dark pants. He was shirtless, showing the world his muscles. "Well, so these are the people who defeated the demon brothers," said the man with amusement in his voice. "Mamachi Zabuza, I never thought someone like you would sell out to Gato," said Anko. "Kakashi no Sharingan, I am honored that you have heard of me," said Zabuza. "My target is only the old man, so if you don't want to die then just step away." "Sorry, but that is not possible," said Kakashi as his hand went to his forehead protector. He then turned his attention to his team. "I want you all to get into a defensive formation around Tazuna. Keep him safe and don't get involved with his fight." He then lifted his protector and revealed his Sharingan. "Zabuza will be fighting me." "Ah, the Sharingan already, I am honored," said Zabuza. Naruto then raised his hand as if he were in class. "This may be a bad time," he began. "But, what is the Sharingan?" "The Sharingan is a dojutsu," said Sasuke. "It allows the user to see through all genjutsu, taijutsu, and ninjutsu, and then cancels their effects. But that's not their only ability. That's correct, said Zabuza. The really scary thing about them is that they can copy any opponent's jutsu. So that's how you were able to copy over 1,000 jutsus, said Naruto. Slowly a fog began to roll into the area. Let's cut this chit-chat, said Zabuza. Hand over the old man. Naruto, Sasuke, and Anko got into a formation to defend Tazuna. Looks like I have to defeat you then. Very well. Zabuza then jumped into the water and said, Ninpu. Kurigakure no jutsu. With that, the mist was now everywhere. Be careful, said Kakashi. Zabuza is a master with the silent killing technique. Just like it sounds, he can kill you without making a sound or any other way of sensing him. Most likely, you'll be dead before you realize it. Also, I can't use my Sharingan to its fullest due to the mist. So keep your guard up. He paused so they could absorb this information. But if you fail, you'll only die. No big deal really. What the hell? Growled Anko. 8 points, said Zabuza from all directions. Liver, lungs, spine, collarbone, jugular vein, larynx, kidneys, heart. So many wonderful choices. Kakashi, who was getting tired of this, flared up his chakra to dispel this mist. What a powerful killing intent, thought Sasuke. If I make a single mistake, I'll die. I can't stand this. I'd rather kill myself than take this much longer. Before he could carry out his plan, Kakashi spoke to him. Don't worry Sasuke, he said. I won't let anything happen to you. His eyes then widened when he saw that Zabuza had appeared in the middle of their defenses. Using his speed, Kakashi raced over to them, knocking them down, and embedding his kunai into Zabuza's chest. The 3 genin stared at Zabuza as his chest dripped water. Behind you sensei, called out Anko. As Kakashi turned around, the Zabuza he had stabbed turned into a puddle of water, as the real Zabuza cut him in half. Zabuza looked very pleased with himself until Kakashi turned to water. A Mizubunshin, said Zabuza in shock. He must have copied it even in the mist. Then he felt a kunai press against his throat. This is the end, said Kakashi. Zabuza just chuckled. Is it? He asked as he turned into a puddle of water, and the real one appeared behind Kakashi. I don't think so. With that, the real Zabuza swung his sword in an attempt to cut the real Kakashi in half. Kakashi ducked, but Zabuza used the momentum of his swing, and turned it into a kick that sent the real Kakashi into the water. As Kakashi slowly began to climb onto the water's surface, Zabuza made same hand signs and said, Suryo no Jutsu. Kakashi was now trapped in a sphere of water. Shit, said Kakashi in the water prison. Don't worry Kakashi, said Zabuza. I'll finish you off later. First, Mizubunshin no Jutsu. You 3 are just brats, said the water clone as it appeared on dry land. A shinobi is only a shinobi when he has gone through many life and death situations. You're just a bunch of brats playing dress up. Ninpu. Kurigakure no Jutsu, the mist soon returned to the area. I'll tell you this, you will only be a shinobi when your name appears in my bingo book. The Bunshin then raced to attack his first victim. It went right to Naruto with its sword raised high in the air. However, when it got close all of the mist seemed to vanish while it was in mid-swing. The Mizubunshin then noticed the blonde's arm. There was a twister around his arm. Let's have some fun, said Naruto as he moved the Senpiken into a defensive stance. The Mizubunshin's blade hit the side of the Senpiken, and there was an explosion. It was small, but enough so that everyone was blinded by the dust that was sent into the air. When it cleared, Naruto was the only one standing. I wondered what would happen if I did that. Looks like I got lucky. What does that mean, dope? Yelled Sasuke. You mean to tell us that you have never used it like this before? Yeah, said Naruto. I mean, I missed all of the other times I came into contact with foreign shinobi to use this jutsu. Smartass, said Sasuke. I'll tell you this much, said Naruto. I have never used it on a person. What I just did was tilt the air current so when it exploded my enemy took all the damage. He then turned to Anko. Hey Anko-chan, it looks like I'll have to use it now. Geez, said Anko as she scratched the back of her head. Just use it already. Naruto grinned as he reached back into his pouch. What are you all thinking? Yelled Kakashi. You all have to get out of here. Our mission was to protect Tazuna. Have you forgotten that? Everyone then looked at Tazuna. I'm sorry for doing this to you all, he said. It is because of me that you are in this position. Now, I don't want to die a super bad death or anything, but if you want to fight then fight. And there you have it, said Naruto as he pulled out the Raijin. Hey eyebrowless freak, I'll tell you something. I have been in life and death situations before. People have tried to kill me my whole life. I have been beaten, stabbed, starved, and I have survived it all so I can fulfill my dream. One day I will be Hokage. Do you hear me? Interesting. Naruto's only answer was a smirk as he lifted himself into the air and activated the Raijin. He then shot towards where Kakashi and Zabuza were standing. Zabuza, while shocked that someone could fly, got his sword into a defensive position. Naruto then veered right and began to circle around them, going faster and faster with each pass. Zabuza tried to swing at the white blur, but it was going just too fast. Getting fed up with his, Zabuza threw his Zanbato which hit Naruto. Zabuza smirked until he saw the blonde shinobi vanish in cloud of smoke. Ah, what did my Kage Bunshin ever do to you? Asked Naruto mockingly. Zabuza looked around for the blonde only to find him floating in the air on the other side of the water sphere. I wonder what would happen if I stabbed this thing? Asked Naruto with an insane smile. Kakashi and Zabuza began to shake their heads. Naruto nodded back at them. Naruto, stammered Kakashi. Water conducts electricity. If you stab this thing I'll get shocked. So will Zabuza unless he releases you, countered Naruto. And judging by the look in his eyes he knows that. You're insane, said Zabuza. Hanging out with Anko-chan does that to you, said Naruto as he stabbed the water sphere with the Raijin. Kakashi and Zabuza immediately felt the electricity and got the shock of their lives. After a moment, Zabuza let go and released Kakashi. I hate that kid, said Zabuza. Smoke was coming off of his entire body, and there was that faint smell of burnt flesh. What the hell have you been teaching him? I never taught him that, groaned Kakashi who was kneeling on the water. Like Zabuza, Kakashi had smoke coming off his body and smelled like burning flesh. You haven't taught me anything, deadpanned Naruto. Now, where is my thank you? Why the hell should I thank you? Yelled Kakashi as he turned to face Naruto. I broke you out of that prison, said Naruto. You could have killed me, yelled Kakashi. But I didn't, said Naruto with a grin. Kakashi turned back to Zabuza. When we get back to the village, I'm going to have a talk with the Hokage about this, he said. As for you Zabuza, the same trick won't work on me twice. We'll see about that, said Zabuza. They then began to fight once again with Kakashi copying Zabuza's every motion. Naruto flew up into the air in case Kakashi got stuck again. As they fought, Naruto noticed something in the trees. It looked like someone in a mask from Mizu was watching them. Naruto kept an eye on this person until he heard Kakashi say, Fūton Jutsus. Naruto then looked down to see Zabuza being blasted by a large blast of water that sent him into a tree. Can you see the future? Asked Zabuza as Kakashi stood above him. Hi, said Kakashi as he pulled out his kunai. And your future is death. It was then that two senbon's needles stuck Zabuza in the neck. After everyone was done with their looks of surprise, Kakashi went over to check out Zabuza. He's dead. Thank you for your assistance, said the masked person as he came out of hiding. I was afraid that I would not be enough to take down the legendary demon of the bloody mist. The person then gave them a bow. Anoinin, said Kakashi. What's anoinin? Asked Naruto as his feet touched the ground. They are a group that hunts down traitors that abandon their villages, said Kakashi. They are to kill them and then dispose of the body, so that their village's secrets won't fall into the enemy's hands. That is correct, said the Oinin in a very feminine voice. Now I must dispose of the body. The Oinin then vanished and then appeared next to Zabuza. Carefully, the Oinin picked him up and the two vanished. That was super good work, said Tazuna. Let me take you back to my home for some super sake and some rest. Hi, said Kakashi. He then noticed that something was missing. He felt his pockets and noticed that his Icha book was missing. That bastard stole the precious. A moment later, Kakashi fainted due to fatigue and shock. Kakashi slowly opened his eye and stared up at Tsunami. About time you woke up, she said. She then turned her head towards a flight of stairs. Hey, he's awake, she said in a slightly louder voice. A moment later Kakashi heard the sounds of several footsteps. Soon, he was greeted by the faces of his students and Tazuna. Slowly, Kakashi moved into a sitting position and looked around. If his guess was right, he was in the living room of house that Tazuna lived in. There was a flight of stairs that told him this was a two-story building. He could see the kitchen that was empty except for a table, some cabinets, and a few modern connivances. The furniture looked old and patched up. It looked like Tazuna wasn't kidding about being poor. Good to see you up, said Tazuna. Don't worry, you're safe here in my daughter's home. I doubt the Gato will send anyone else after you defeated that Jonin. Maybe, said Kakashi with an air of uncertainty. He then looked at his students. You all have done well. But Naruto, you shouldn't harm your allies or argue with your sensei in those kinds of situations. Don't you think you're being a bit hard on him? Asked Tazuna. He did get you out of that mess after all. And besides, you won. He could have gotten us all killed, said Kakashi. Naruto was about to say something when a new person entered the room. Inari, said Tazuna as he looked over at the boy. He was wearing green overalls and a blue shirt. On his head was hat. Everyone, I would like you to meet my super grandson Inari. Inari, these are the people who risked their lives to save me. There's no point, said Inari. To what? Asked Anko with a raised eyebrow. What you are doing, answered Inari. No matter what you do, Gato will kill you. And with that he turned around and headed out the door. Inari wait, cried the boy's mother as she raced out the door after him. Humph, said Sasuke. Took the words right out of my mouth, said Anko as she crossed her arms. Naruto said nothing but gritted his teeth. Never mind him, said Kakashi as everyone turned their attention back at him. Right now we have more important things to worry about. The more I think about it, the more I believe that Zabuza is alive. But we saw him die, said Sasuke. Think about it, said Kakashi. Anoinin is in charge of disposing of the Nukenin's body. But instead of doing it right then and there, he moved the body. Also, consider the weapon that he used. Senbon needles don't do that much damage. But Anoinen has knowledge of the human body, so that he would know where all the weak points are. He could easily hit a nerve that could put someone in a dead-like state. That said, I believe that they are working together. Don't you think that you are overthinking this? Asked Tazuna. Kakashi shrugged. I'd rather train them from something that won't happen than to not train them for something that will happen, replied the Cyclops. Besides, I want my book back. Everyone's sweat dropped as he ruined the moment. Over in an open field, Haku examined the body of Zabuza. After a few minutes she then unwrapped some tools and selected something that looked like tweezers. Slowly she moved the tool near the man's neck in an attempt to remove the needles. However, Zabuza woke up and pulled them out himself. You really shouldn't do things like that, said Haku as she took off her mask. Those needles weren't deep. You could have seriously put yourself in danger. Also, reached into the large man's pants pocket and pulled out an orange book. If you have time to grab something like this, then you have time to kill your opponent. Shut up, stammered Zabuza as he tried to get the book back. It was bad enough that the girl was scolding him like a child, but finding out he had porn was even worse. She just didn't understand that he was a man with needs. And since they were on the run he couldn't stay in one stop long enough to meet a woman. So that book would have to do. Unfortunately for him, Haku wouldn't let him get his hands back on the book. I would have had him if it wasn't for that gaki with the Raijin. Oh, said Haku with interest. So that was the Raijin. I always wondered what it looked like. The Raijin, said Zabuza as he continued to try and grab the book. One of the 5 great elemental weapons. Each one, like the cages, represents one of the 5 great shinobi nations. I had heard that that sword had been returned home. But I never thought that a kid would have it. A flying kid at that. Now I have one more reason to go after the bridge builder. With that weapon I will be one step closer to reaching my goals. The Raijin or the blonde? Asked Haku. Maybe both, said Zabuza with a grin. He could see it now. The blonde could fly into the village and drop exploding tags all over the place while he snuck in. Then with the Raijin he could kill the Mizukage and take his place. Well, you're not doing it anytime soon, said Haku in her serious voice. It will take at least a week for these wounds to heal. She then smiled sweetly at Zabuza. But don't worry, my cooking will speed things up a bit. Zabuza began to sweat bullets when Haku said that. She was an amazing shinobi but was useless in the kitchen. The last time she had made him anything he could have sworn that it blinked at him. And now, in his weakened condition, he couldn't escape. Personally, he was wishing that Kakashi had gotten to him first. Elsewhere, Team 7 made their way into the woods with Kakashi on crutches. The Jonin's 3 students walked ahead of him while he talked to Tazuna who had come along just in case. Hey Kakashi, do you have a problem with the super midget? Asked Tazuna. No, answered Kakashi. Why do you ask? Well, I've seen you put him down several times, said Tazuna as he took a swig of sake. You just seem harder on the boy. I see, said Kakashi. I wouldn't expect you to understand, but Naruto doesn't interest me that much. He's a dreamer with a few good jutsus with nothing else really going for him. He says he'll become Hokage, but that will never happen. I doubt he will ever make it past Chunin. Sasuke is a different matter. He is a genius among the shinobi of his age group. He belongs to a clan with a great dujutsu. Once he awakens it, he will become stronger than any of the other genins and most of the Chunins. The council also knows this. That is why they are planning on making Sasuke our future Hokage. I don't know everything about the shinobi world, said Tazuna as he scratched his head. But doesn't the Hokage choose who will succeed him? That's what I heard at least. Hi, said Kakashi. The council plans on making a strong case for Sasuke's selection. Sarutobi-sama will see the light sooner or later. I don't think I'll ever understand the shinobi world, thought Tazuna. Alright, let's stop here, said Kakashi as them came into a clearing. His 3 students turned around and waited for their sensei to tell them what they were going to be doing. To get you all ready in case Zabuza really is alive, I will be teaching you a technique that some jonins can't even do. And what is that? Asked Sasuke. To climb trees, said Kakashi with a nice smile. His students seemed less than impressed. We already know how to climb a tree, said Sasuke as he crossed his arms. Kakashi didn't say anything as he walked slowly over to a nearby tree and walked up it without using his hands. The ease in which he did it made it look more like he was walking on the ground. When he reached the first branch that looked like it would hold him, he walked under it so he was upside down. He walked a little bit more before he stopped and looked down at his students. Did I forget to mention that you couldn't use your hands? Said Kakashi. He then began to walk back down to his students and employer. As you know, chakra flows through the entire body. In some areas, like the hands, it is easier to focus and to mold. The feet, on the other hand, are much harder. This exercise is going to help you work on your control, so that even in the heat of battle, you don't waste any chakra. He was now in front of his students. He reached into his kunai pouch and then pulled out 3 which he then tossed to his students. Use these to record your progress. Oh, and I suggest that you get a running start. Sasuke smirked as he gripped his kunai. He then ran towards the nearest tree as quickly as he could. While he ran, he focused chakra into his feet right before he took his first step onto the tree. When his foot touched the bark there was a small explosion, and Sasuke was thrown back. But not before he was able to mark where he stopped. "This isn't as easy as I thought it would be," said Sasuke as he began to understand what had happened. "If I use too much then the wood explodes." "Hi," said Kakashi. "And if you use too little then you slip right off. In order to do this you need a precise amount." He then looked over to where Naruto and Anko were and found them walking slowly up their tree with their hands in the pockets. A look of shock came on Kakashi's face, while Sasuke's became distorted in anger. Kakashi had a feeling that Naruto already knew how to do this, but not Anko. As Naruto walked down he saw the look on their faces and smirked. "What?" asked the blonde. "I've known how to do this for years. I showed Anko-chan how to do it in our second year." "I see," said Kakashi as he ignored Sasuke's growl. "Alright then, we are going to have to make some changes. I had planned on having all three of you do this for the week, but seeing this means that two of you need other things to do. Sasuke, I want you to keep working on this until you have mastered it. Naruto, when Sasuke is done I want you to teach him one of your jutsus." "Like hell I will," yelled Naruto. Kakashi just gave the boy a lazy look like he didn't care. "Naruto," he said firmly. "This is not a request, it's an order. I would do it myself but I'm in no condition. And I don't want you to teach him anything useless like the Warrick no Jutsu that I have heard about." Naruto balled up his fists so tightly that they began to bleed. Kakashi saw this but said nothing as he turned to Anko. "You will be on guard duty starting tomorrow." "But what about my training?" she demanded. "Train while you guard him then," said Kakashi as he turned around and began to walk away with Tazuna. As he walked with Tazuna, Anko gave him the one-figured salute. "So," said Tazuna once they were out of range. "Explain to me how that super brooder is the best when he needs the help of the hopeless dreamer." Kakashi groaned. "Just show me where I can get a new book," he said. Tazuna sighed. "I'm sorry to say this," said the old bridge builder. "But Gato hogs all of those books. There's not a single one in this country." At that, Kakashi screamed. Teammates stood before the Hokage as they finished their debriefing. Since Team 7 left there had been an increase of available mission. D-rank mission were few since most people figured that they would just save some money and do them themselves. However, the ones that were given out were the ones that no one really wanted to do. That was just how it was. "Good job teammate," said the Hokage as he smiled at them. "The daimyo's wife is very pleased to have her cat back. Again. Now, I have several other missions that I could give you." He paused there simply for the effect. "What do you mean by could give?" asked Kurenai. "Today teammate will be going on its first C-rank mission," said Sarutobi. "The Nami shipping group has been hit by a number of pirates lately, and has lost their last several shipments. To correct this they have put out posters looking for people to act as guards, and have asked us for additional assistance. We will be paid the usual, and you will be getting a tip of 1,000 ryo for each pirate that you kill or capture." "Where is the ship heading?" asked Kurenai. "The ship is heading to a small island near the former Yuzu no Kuni," replied the Hokage. In reality he had wanted Team 7 to go with them, but his concern for the reaction of Naruto's tenet caused him to reconsider. After all, Kyuubi was the one who was responsible for that land's destruction. The pirates don't usually attack ships in that area, since few venture to that area, so it should be safe. "Once you get to the island you will begin your next mission." "We get 2 C-ranked missions," exclaimed Kiba. "What's the other one?" "Urachi-san will inform you of the details when you reach the island," said Sarutobi. He then looked at Hinata. "Yes, she will be joining you on that mission. You leave in 1 hour." "You heard him," said Kurenai as she turned to her students. "Be at the north gate in 1 hour." The genins bowed before the Hokage and then rushed out the door to get ready. Once they had left, Kurenai turned to the old man and stared at him. "I want to know what this second mission is about before I send my team into it. And why are we meeting up with Urachi?" The Hokage seemed to ignore her as he pulled out his pipe. He lit it and then took a long grab. He studied the woman before him for a while before taking one last drag. "Very well," he said. "You can't tell anyone about this mission. You and your team are to protect Hinata while Urachi attends her clan's meeting." Kurenai blinked in confusion. That had not been what she was expecting. "Ah, wouldn't she be safer in the village?" she asked. "I had better explain," said Sarutobi. "As you know, Urachi is the niece of the current daimyo. For most of her early life, she was pampered and brought up to be one of the nobles. Then, one day when she was 9, she was nearly killed in an assassination attempt. She was saved, luckily, by one of our shinobi. After that, a spark was lit that couldn't be extinguished. She wanted to become a shinobi despite her family's objections. However, they eventually gave in seeing that she would never be able to become daimyo. But things are different now. The current daimyo has no children of his own. Unless this changes, his brother will remain next in line with Urachi in third. However, it is most likely that her father will be too old to take the throne if that happens. To decide the best course of action, the clan is having a meeting on the island that you are heading to, so that it will remain a secret." "I see," said Kurenai as she nodded. "But what does this have to do with Hinata?" There's also another thing that they will be talking about, said the Hokage. The daimyo told me before he left with Uruchi that they want her to formally adopt Hinata as her daughter. What? Kurenai practically screamed. You seem surprised, observed the Hokage. To say the least, breathed Kurenai. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy for Hinata. I'm just surprised that they want her now after all this time. The Hokage took another drag before continuing. If Uruchi is moved to second in line for the throne, she will need a successor, said the Hokage. The life that that woman leads is a dangerous one. Not to mention her personality. She has never been married, nor has she had children of her own. Maybe they are hoping that adding some Hyuga blood will help their family. So why is her life in danger? Repeated the red-eyed woman. Hiashi, said Tsurutobi simply. Since Hinata was thrown out, he has been worried that the Byakugan will fall into another clan. If that happens, some of the branch members of his clan might try to get their children into the other one to save them from the birdcage seal. But now he has something far worse. If Hinata were to make her voice heard, she would have the power to help pass laws. She could help create a law that would banish the birdcage seal once and for all. If that happened, I would be forced to enforce it, and Hiashi would be forced to obey. If he finds out where and when the meeting is taking place, I am sure that he will try his best to have her killed beforehand. Does he know about this meeting? Asked Kurenai. Unfortunately, the council was informed, said the Hokage. And that man is on the council. He only knows about the meeting, but not the time and place. The first mission is a cover. I had worked it out with the shipping company so that you will be on the right boat. He stopped to have another drag. Have I explained everything? Hi, she said as she turned to leave. After all, she had to get ready too. Naruto was lying on his back on a thick tree branch on the other edge of the clearing where Sasuke was training. His hands were behind his head acting like a pillow. Anko had gone on her own to work on some snake jutsus, while muttering something about lazy senseis. At least things were quiet. So quiet in fact that Naruto decided to take a nap right before he began his own training. Slowly he drifted into dreamland until... Get down here, dope, yelled Sasuke from the ground. Naruto groaned as he opened his eyes while wishing that his teammate came with a snooze button. He then got up into a sitting position with his legs dangling over the edge as he looked down at his teammate. What do you want, team? Asked Naruto. You're going to start teaching me that jutsu now, demanded Sasuke. Naruto smiled as he shook his head. Sorry, but sensei said I only had to when you finished mastering this exercise, said Naruto, who wasn't sorry at all. And since you're down there and I'm up here, you haven't finished it. It's pointless, said Sasuke as he crossed his arms. This isn't making me stronger. I need to get stronger so I can kill him. So get down here. Taking the easy way, I see, said Naruto with a sigh. Let me guess, you actually have to work hard at it, and now you want to give up. It takes time and hard work to gain power that is worth having. Then, Sasuke did something that Naruto never expected him to do. The Uchiha reached back and pulled out 6 kunai. Without saying a word, he threw them at Naruto. The wind user leaned back and rolled off the branch to avoid being hit. Now he was hovering in the air while looking at Sasuke. What was that about? I don't want a lecture, said Sasuke. I don't have time for it. Every second I waste with people who are only playing shinobi heat get stronger. So I'm just playing shinobi. So I'm just supposed to hand everything to you on a silver platter, yelled Naruto. I worked my ass off for this power. If you want to get stronger, then why don't you try making your own jutsu instead of waiting for others to hand you everything? Began Sasuke, but Naruto wasn't finished. Besides, you're not getting stronger while Kakashi-sensei is holding me and Anko-chan back. So if you think you're better than we are based on our practices, then you are wrong. You want to put that to the test? Asked Sasuke as he cracked his knuckles. Love to team, said Naruto as he landed on the ground. Not wasting any time, Sasuke ran right for the blonde and punched him in the face. As Naruto took a couple of steps backwards due to the force of the attack, Sasuke managed to kick him in the chest. Sasuke then leapt toward him and continued to punch him over and over again without stop. Punch in the face, this the best, punch in the gut, you, another punch in the gut, God, taunted Sasuke. He was about to punch him in the face again when Naruto's hand grabbed the other boy's fist. Naruto stared at Sasuke. A small trickle of blood came from his mouth. His left eye seemed to be half open. In a single motion he pushed Sasuke away. Hardly, said Naruto before he shot straight up into the air. Sasuke watched him as he became nothing but a small dot. What is that dope thinking? Asked Sasuke aloud. Naruto stopped shortly before he hit the cloud line. Once there he began his pre-fight ritual. After all, you had to get into the right mood when you do things like this. Naruto closed his eyes and took a deep breath. He then opened his eyes, and a feral smile appeared on his face. Sasuke stared at the dot that was his teammate. For a while it remained stationary. The Uchiha then began to wonder what was going on. Was his teammate going to run away? Did he have a plan? Was he going to use a long-range attack? His thoughts were then cut short when the dot began to get bigger as Naruto fell to the ground at amazing speeds. He then veered left and Sasuke lost sight of him due to the canopy that the forest created. Then, from Sasuke's right, Naruto came flying towards him like a human bullet, veering around so he didn't hit the truss. Sasuke grabbed his last kunai and threw it at Naruto. Sasuke watched it as it hit Naruto in the forehead. However, a moment later Naruto went poof. "Kage Bunshin," said Sasuke with gritted teeth. Sasuke's eyes then widened right before he did a backflip to avoid another Kage Bunshin that would have hit him from behind. When he landed, he saw another clone coming from straight towards him and another coming from the left. Sasuke dodged at the last moment so that the two hit each other. Sadly, this time there was no poof but a boom instead. The force of the explosion threw Sasuke like he was a rag doll as he landed on his chest. Slowly he got up and noticed Naruto was leaning against a tree with his arms crossed. "You done yet?" he asked with a grin. "Hardly," replied Sasuke as he charged at Naruto. Naruto got off the tree and began to do some hand signs. Then he yelled, "Fūton Jutsus," and a great explosion of wind came and swept Sasuke into the air. He landed hard on a tree with enough force to hear a bone or two break. The next thing he saw was Naruto flying towards him feet first, aimed for his chest. When it hit, Sasuke's face was the picture of pain right before he went poof and was replaced with a log. Naruto turned around and saw Sasuke on a knee, panting hard. Then he saw Sasuke pull out some shuriken, and then he threw them at him. Naruto smirked as he began to do several seals before shouting, "Fūton Kazute." A twister appeared around Naruto and deflected the attacks that Sasuke threw at him. "How?" asked Sasuke as Naruto's jutsu faded. "These were the first jutsus that I ever learned," replied Naruto. "I know one other, but I don't think I'll need it." "You done?" "Not yet," snarled Sasuke as he got up. He then began to perform his own hand signs, and then yelled, "Kaden Kakakyu no Jutsu." Naruto saw this and yelled, "Fūton Jutsus." Sadly, as soon as Naruto did that he remembered what happens when you use wind to fight fire. The two jutsus hit each other and caused an explosion as the fire ignited the wind. When the smoke cleared, the clearing had suddenly become a lot bigger. Sasuke was knocked out and Naruto was about to lose it as well. "Somehow I know I'm going to get in trouble for this," said Naruto as he closed his eyes. Thanks for listening. I do hope you enjoyed. If you want the next part of this video, like, subscribe and comment down below, and turn on the bell notification. And also check out other videos that I have created and enjoy. See you in the next video. Peace.